guys. Howdy doo-dah. Man, y'all are busy chatting today. I haven't really read everything that you guys were saying, but I'm seeing a lot of activity. I'm gonna go over a lot of the Q drops just because there's been it's just a better direction. I feel like going through the Q drops and seeing all of the things that Q is pointing out right now, because there is still a lot happening at all times, obviously, but there just seemed to be kind of more going on in the Q world. So that's what we're going to do today. If you guys want, the first link at the top is the Qmap.pub. That's the aggregator that I typically use. You can use whatever one you want, but I think that I know that some of the aggregators have them numbered differently, so just beware of that. The first one I wanted to go over actually happened before last week when I went live. It was actually a Q drop that I was tagged in, so that was pretty cool, although RIP to my notifications. I really couldn't even look at my Twitter for the next couple days. It was impossible. So that was 4517, also a pretty cool number there. My portrait of Snoop Dogg is crooked. Yeah, well, it would be. So it was the girl, she was the nurse that was taking the oath, and super cute. And Q said under her tweet, "We're in this together, unity, not division, where we go one, we go all, Q." So I actually, right before I did this, I was actually doing I made my Take the Oath video. I haven't put it up yet because I was literally doing it just before I did this. But I did it myself privately the other day, and it kind of seems to me like Q is encouraging us to make these videos. So I'm just gonna do it, even though I feel super goofy or whatever. But they're really cute, and I love seeing them. And I've been going through the Take the Oath hashtag on Twitter, and it's very sweet. It really makes me tear up to see all of these patriots worldwide, by the way. Lots of patriots from other countries also taking this oath with us, which is just absolutely powerful and awesome. Then 4518 is a deaf digital soldier that I actually happen to follow. He's super cool, and it's him taking the oath. And then Q posted, this is interesting, "Where we go one, we go all" in sign language, only the first W was missing. So that was weird. And then I was like, well, that says "here we go. Here we go one, we go all." So I'm like, oh, I hope things are ramping up. Cool shirt, Kate, thanks. This is my pajamas. I'm literally wearing pajama pants and just full on pajamas, guys. I'm like, don't tell them you're wearing pajamas, but then I can't help myself. 4520 is a Steve Scalise tweet, and he links to an NJ.com article. It says, "New Jersey Health Department workers slam Governor Murphy's deadly nursing home policies." And his tweet says, "An unmitigated failure that led to preventable deaths. He must be held accountable." So this drop had an image of another tweet from Rogan O'Hanley. And he says 45 out of 50 governors did not force COVID-infected patients into nursing homes, but 5 did. Cuomo, New York; Wolf, Pennsylvania; Whitmer, Michigan; Murphy, New Jersey; Newsom, California. Nearly half of all COVID nursing home deaths were in these states. That is not an accident. That's systematic murder. And Q says, difficult truths. Yeah, definitely. 4521. So this is kind of scary, actually, and just shows you the extent to which these people will go. Adam Schiff is introducing a bill to amend the Posse Comitatus Act. So I looked up what that means. So obviously posse, we know what a posse is. It's like men. Actually, I looked up a body of men typically armed, summoned by a sheriff to enforce the law. And then comitatus was in ancient times the Latin term for an armed escort. The term was used especially in context of Germanic warrior culture for a warband tied to a leader by an oath of fealty. So Q says this is worth tracking. I have the links to all of these things down below. If there are links within the Q drops, I put them below. If there are links to tweets, I also put them below. So the Posse Comitatus Act, 18 U.S. Code Section 1385. an original intent of which was to end the use of federal troops to police state elections in former Confederate states, prescribes the role of the Army and the Air Force in executing civil laws and states. Key exceptions to the Posse Comitatus Act. Pursuant to the presidential power to quell domestic violence, federal troops are expressly exempt from the prohibitions of the Posse Comitatus Act, and that this exemption applies equally to active duty military and federalized National Guard troops. Q says, what is Adam Schiff trying to prevent? Everything you are witnessing, past, present, future, centrally revolves around the presidential election in 2020. Win by any means necessary, self-preservation. So that is very important. Everything that we have been seeing, every play on, on the board game here is all revolving around this 2020 election, even the last election, everything we've seen over these last couple of years, everything that they're planning for the future, everything is riding on this 2020 election. So we know that self-preservation is not, they're not speaking lightly there. These people are literally, it's do or die for them. So they are pulling out anything that they can to cheat to win this election. Obviously, this sounds like Adam Schiff is trying to take away the president's ability to use the military, as he's been kind of threatening to do, to keep the peace in the streets, et cetera, to keep people safe. So that ain't our friend. And yeah, so 4522 is a Breitbart article. $21 million NYC field hospital closes after never seeing a single patient. I took a couple sentences from the article. It says, New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announced the construction of the multi-million-dollar field hospital at the end of March. They're going to set it up rapidly, and then we're going to go to this next site, the next site, and the next site to meet our goal. De Blasio said, detailing the 760 plus bed plus site at the Brooklyn Cruise Terminal in Red Hook. He also announced another overflow facility at the Billie Jean King Tennis Center in Flushing. That 350 bed facility only saw 79 patients, according to the city. However, the Red Hook facility never saw a single patient, and both locations ended up costing over $40 million combined. So Q says, worth remembering, why were elderly COVID-19 positive patients pushed into nursing homes, known hot zones, if ample capacity existed to support locally? Can you logically explain why Democrat governors made decisions regarding elderly push into hot zones, which knowingly contradicted federal guidelines as well as general common sense? Think about influenza death rate regarding age group 65 plus. I mean, common sense tells us that these are the most vulnerable citizens that we have, or some of the most vulnerable citizens we have. So why would you put those people in there intentionally when you have overflow capacity in these other hospitals? Evil surrounds us, Q. That is absolutely evil. Q has also been pushing us to, I have a ton, every time I come across a really great meme about these, the push into the nursing homes and these hospitals that went unused, I usually retweet them, so that anytime you guys see me retweet a meme, or even if you don't, any meme that you come across that has this, save it, and then put it under, anytime, Bill de Blasio or Cuomo or any of these people that are complicit in this, put it under their tweet. It's not necessarily for their eyes, it's for the people that are looking at their tweet. And the more that we do that, the more people are going to start questioning what the heck really happened here. 4526, Guardian pushes a hit piece on QAnon Facebook the day after Q's epic digital background drop. I did not read this article. I typically don't read the hit pieces on Q. I think it was Andy Warhol that had some famous quote that was like, don't pay attention to what they write about you, just measure it in inches. And I tend to kind of feel that way about it. When I try to read these, it gives me, it's not even just that I get irritated at seeing them lie about everything and that they are completely irresponsible with their facts and that they obviously have not even really researched Q, because of the things that they say just absolutely make no sense to anybody that's actually researched it. There's actually a very dark vibration, like a, not to get all metaphysical on you guys, but when I read those things, it actually does something to me physically. So I tend to stay away from them. Q says, daily attacks are normal, but what are the odds this particular hit piece regarding Facebook censorship push comes the next day? Think battlefield and missions. The Guardian, Q says in quotes, which I thought is interesting because why are they called the Guardian? Who are they the guardians of? Really think about that. And then Q says information warfare. 4527 was a 3-second delta between a Q drop and a POTUS tweet. So to those of you that are new, we have deltas, which are one of the things that we kind of consider a Q proof. And these are, a delta is a time differential between two events. So typically we, you know, when they're kind of, when there's a POTUS tweet and then a Q drop, or actually right, you know, the other way around typically, or right on top of each other, to us, because this has happened a ton of times now, it would be really impossible at this point to do it even a few times. Like you go out there and you try to tweet at the same time as the president. Yes, he tweets a lot, but to get them right on top of each other, it would really have to be coordinated in order to do it so often. So that's one of the things that we use to say, like, hey, it really looks like Q team is working with President Trump to coordinate these things. It's just one of many things that we look at. This one was 3 seconds, and Q says Dan is to blame. So Dan Scavino is the president's social media director, and Q has alluded several times to him either being on Q team, or he's definitely running operations for the Q team. I think he might be one of those 10, the 10 core group of people that we know Q team consists of. 4529, governors are not immune to lawsuits arising out of willful or negligent disregard of state laws. House GOP tweet on governor's disastrous nursing home orders. So I've got the link both to the tweet and to the article below. Q says, did orders violate government mandated policies? Would a jury of peers agree that their actions were reckless? Would a jury of peers agree that their actions were negligent? I believe so. I think so. What do you guys think? 4530. This one was actually, this is the first time that Q has ever posted a whole Twitter account rather than just a tweet. This was Enoch, and I think the reason that Q did this is because Enoch was putting together all of the, he was retweeting all of the videos of people taking their oath. And so if you went to his page, it was just tweet after tweet of these videos. So I think that that's what Q was pointing us towards. Q says, rising to the occasion, understanding what's at stake. God bless each and every one of you. We will not fail. Where we go one, we go all. 4531, another patriot takes the oath. Q says the reason I put this one in, there were a few in here that with patriots taking oaths, but in this one, this kind of struck me. Q says the next few weeks will demonstrate our resolve. I'm like, uh-oh, what does that mean? Where we go one, we go all. 4535 is a long post. I believe it's a repeat of a post that we've had before, but it's very good and it's a must read, but I'm not going to sit here and read it to you guys. You guys can go and take a look at that. I am going to read a couple long drops to you just because they're just awesome. But not this one. 4536, Anon points out a 2-year delta between a Q post saying, look for more direct confirmations. It's time. And then an Eric Trump Instagram post with a clear where we go one, we go all on it. It was a flag and it was unmistakable. He has since deleted it, so they can always say that, you know, he did it unintentionally, but it was very clear. I don't know how he could have missed it. Q says, if the news is untrustworthy, corrupt, controlled, and simply an extension arm of the D party, how do you circumvent controlled lines of communication, propaganda? How do you communicate directly with the people? Back channels are important. Information warfare, knowledge is power. So the entire, one of the major elements of Q is the information dissemination to the public. They use this back channel to talk to us, to give us information, or to lead us down these paths, ask questions that get us thinking about these things. We then uncover the information ourselves and we start to spread it. And then, you know, we become digital soldiers, we become independent journalists, whatever you want to call us. Even people just sharing information on Twitter. We are all important cogs in that information dissemination program. 4538 is a BBC News article. It says, flu virus with pandemic potential found in China. Q says, another Chinese special delivery. I made a Twitter thread this morning, actually, on this, where I was talking about how Bill Gates was being interviewed, and he was talking about CV being pandemic 1 and that there was pandemic 2 coming. And this is kind of interesting. So all of a sudden, within the last 24 hours, if you Google, I believe what it's called is like G4AE or EAH1N1 is the new name of this thing. And if you Google that or new swine flu, you will see like every couple hours from every mainstream news source, just tons. You'll see several pages of articles on this. They're just really jamming it down our throats. So they obviously want us to pay attention to this. And there are just a couple really interesting things about this. One is that Event 201 that the Bill Gates Foundation and Johns Hopkins threw in October of 2019, literally almost 1 month to the day of the first known case of coronavirus. And that's weird enough. It was a global pandemic exercise or whatever, where they made up a global pandemic, which just so happened to be a coronavirus stemming from pigs that they were calling, I can't remember, cans, something like that. And so that's weird. Anyway, go take a look at my thread. I think I put the link below. If I didn't, it's somewhere on I haven't tweeted that much today. 41 and 42 are both, it's a two-part of Archbishop Carlo Maria Viggiano, letter to POTUS regarding biblical battle. It's very long, but it's very worth reading, so go take a look at that. Pigvid 19. 4544 and 4545 are the two ones that I really wanted to read to you. The first one is not very long, but it just really made me, it did things to me. It did things to my feelings. This is a quote from Thomas Paine. These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in the crisis, shrink from the service of their country. But he that stands by it now deserves the love and thanks of man and woman. Tyranny, like hell, is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us, that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. What we obtain too cheap, we esteem too lightly. This is the dearness only that gives everything its value. Heaven knows how to put a proper price upon its goods, and it will be strange indeed if so celestial an article as freedom should not be highly rated. First of all, I mean, it's a beautiful quote. I've heard it before. Do you guys ever feel like Q is literally listening to you and then will respond to you by Q drops? I was having a conversation with my mom yesterday. I was having a mental breakdown just about how hard this was getting, and that it was just getting very hard, that I feel like I've been slogging through mud for 2.5 years, and that I've been just keeping my spirits up, and then just, it's getting very hard. A lot of it has to do now with the violence in the street that I'm seeing. A lot of this other stuff, like politicians acting like fools, etc., have been entertaining, annoying, but really watching people getting hurt, watching our country be destroyed, it has really done something to me. I know it's done something to a lot of you. I know I'm not the only one feeling this. I feel I'm fine now. Like, I have my moments, and luckily I have people like my mom to talk to. And, you know, these were essentially the things that she was saying to me And then right after I got off the phone with her, Q posted this. And I don't know if it's just kind of some cosmic thing, or if there's maybe something to the collective consciousness that Q is tapped into, and we're all kind of feeling this way, and they know that, and then they post this. So it was really kind of cool. 4545 is the long one, but I really want to read this to you guys. Humanity is good, but when we let our guard down, we allow darkness to infiltrate and destroy. Like past battles fought, we now face our greatest battle at present, a battle to save our republic, our way of life, and what we decide, each of us, now will decide our future. Will we be a free nation under God? Will we cede our freedom, rights, and liberty to the enemy? Will we all have a choice to make. Evil, darkness has never been so exposed to light. They can no longer hide in the shadows. Our system of government has been infiltrated by corrupt and sinister elements. Democracy was almost lost forever. Think HRC install, 2+ Supreme Court justices, 200+ judges, rogue elements expanded inside DOJ, FBI, CIA, NSA, White House, state, removal of our Second Amendment, the border, etc. America for sale, China, Russia, Iran, Syria. ISIS, Al-Qaeda expansion, service of domestic citizens, or surveillance of domestic citizens, modify, change voter rules and regulations, allow illegals plus ballot harvesting, with Supreme Court-backed liberal social opinion, sell off military to highest bidder to fight internal long-standing wars. I mean, all of these things should be terrifying for us to listen to think about how close we came to each and every one of these things. Their thirst for one world order, destruction of national sovereignty, serves to obtain control over America and her allies, think EU, by diluting your vote to oblivion and installing a new one world ruling party. The start of this concept began with the organizations such as World Health Org, World Trade Org, United Nations, ICC, NATO, etc., all meant to weaken the United States. Also, the formation of the EU through threat of close proximity attack. Attack on one is an attack on all. Sales pitch to general public, fear control. Regarding EU, did each member nation cede sovereignty to Brussels? Regarding EU, did each member must implement EU rules and regulations in all areas? Think immigration, currency, overall control. Their thirst to remove your ability to defend yourself serves to prevent an uprising to challenge their control. There is a fundamental reason why our enemies dare not attack, invade our borders, armed citizenry. If America falls, so does the rest of the world. One thing that I saw when I was seeing these videos from some of our patriots overseas were a few of them acknowledging the fact that if America loses their freedom, if America is no longer a free nation, then they will too. And they see that and they know that. If America falls, darkness will soon follow. Only when we stand together, only when we are united, can we defeat this highly entrenched dark enemy. Their power and control relies heavily on an uneducated population. That's our job. A population that trusts without individual thought. A population that obeys without challenge. We're seeing this right now with the masks, partly. A population that remains outside of free thought and instead remains isolated, living in fear inside the closed-loop echo chamber of the controlled mainstream media. This is not about politics. This is about preserving our way of life and protecting the generations that follow. We are living in biblical times. Children of the light versus children of darkness, united against the invisible enemy of all humanity. Q. That one just really kind of laid it out. That might be a drop that I would send to somebody that was newly awakening. I'm just checking. Anyway, I really liked those last drops. 4546 is a New York Times article about coronavirus jumps the border. How does it do that? Overwhelming hospitals in California. So this says hospitals are airlifting patients to facilities hundreds of miles away to handle an influx of Americans and U.S. green card holders sickened in Mexico. Q says camouflaged by protest riots. So they do these things you know, while those other things are going on, it's like, look over here and you can't see this happening. COVID-19, 2 positive patients in Mexico were quietly routed to California. The swelling numbers of COVID-19 patients entering the United States from Mexico comes as many parts of California have pushed down their infection rates, enables many counties to lift the stay-at-home restrictions and reopen businesses. Then Q says, next, and it's a Deadline article saying, California coronavirus update. Governor Gavin Newsom indicates LA County could close back down soon. Quote, we will be stepping up our enforcement. So you see how the one thing leads to another. They were just getting ready to open up, and then now they've got an influx because they're bringing people across the border from Mexico. We just had this in Arizona, where we were starting to open back up. Actually, okay, my gym opened up a while back, like over a month ago, and I was so excited because it's like all I have. It's all I have in life, and I'm really excited. And then when the mask mandate happened, they weren't making us wear masks. I'm not going to say the name of the gym, number one, because I don't want you guys knowing where I go work out. Number two, I don't want to get them in trouble. Whoever owns it is definitely a patriot. So they weren't making us wear masks, which was awesome. And then apparently, so our governor just came out, and by 8 o'clock last night, he was forcing close the bars and restaurants and gyms and movie theaters, et cetera, a few other businesses. By 8 o'clock last night, it was like mandatory closing. And I heard today, I didn't go today because I was busy, but a friend of mine called me and told me that my gym is saying like F you to the governor, and is actually going to sue him and is going to remain open. So that is like the best news. That was part of my meltdown yesterday. That's why I called my mother crying, because they closed my gym. And I was like, I have nothing in this whole world. That was all I had. Like I can't, like nothing outside of my house. Like my house, everything inside my house is lovely, but I can't leave my house, and it was the only thing that I had to like go do and feel like a normal human being. So anyway, from that article, transmission is increasing in the state, said California Governor Gavin Newsom at his Monday coronavirus press briefing. Accordingly, Newsom said he would likely be using the dimmer switch to toggle back reopening measures in more hard-hit counties. He said there were 7 counties, including Los Angeles, that likely would need to reinstitute community measures. So right now that involves closing of bars and nightclubs. Another thing is that I know people that work at the border in Arizona, in the Yuma area, some people that work at the border and some people that work in hospitals by the border, and both of them are confirming that they are just bringing people across from Mexico into those hospitals, and that is why we are now spiking in Arizona. Our numbers are spiking. Q says, how do you maintain control of the narrative, mail-in voting necessary, and attempt to keep control of population? Next challenge, rise in cases due to testing in Mexico to California, but overall decrease in death rates. Nursing home scandal in public domain, no longer viable option. Q. So obviously they are doing this for one of the reasons is to try to still push this mail-in voting so that they can cheat. 4547, the lone warrior, that was a tweet that the president put out. This was music. I kind of love it when Q puts out music, and I always listen to it like full volume with my headphones in. That's what I was doing today. I was listening to on repeat as I was making these notes. And so go check that out. I've got a link below. 4548. Ugh. This is a NYC Scanner tweet, and there's a video of a 64-year-old woman being choked and robbed. So I didn't watch that. But it says, does a combination of prisoner release plus mask mandates provide for a more dangerous environment to citizens? My friend Truthhammer actually just did a really great thread about this on Twitter, about how putting people in masks takes away that, it takes away a number of things. My friend was just in town staying with me, and she and I went to the grocery store, and she was wearing a mask. And some lady came up to her and was saying something, and she thought the woman was being combative. She just took off. But there's that element of not being able to gauge what somebody's facial expression is, and so you don't really, That's one of the ways that we communicate as human beings, is to look at each other's faces and read the expression on them. And it also, you know, gives you that anonymous, the anonymity of hiding your face, and that can sometimes lead to bad behavior. There was a Q posted a. Oh, I just realized my my YouTube froze, and I'm just gonna pray that it did not freeze on the same face for you guys. New York Post article, city district attorneys rip de Blasio over planned release of high-risk inmates. The city's 5 district attorneys and the Big Apple special narcotics prosecutor sent a letter to Mayor Bill de Blasio, what a dumb name, and his correction commissioner Monday, slamming them for the planned release of violent inmates amid the coronavirus pandemic. The DAs from Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, the Bronx, and Staten Island, and Special Narcotics Prosecutor Bridget Brennan said they've been reviewing requests for the release of inmates from Rikers Island with the goal of reducing health risks in a manner consistent with public safety. Our review of the list, this is a quote, our review of the list provided to date has led us to consent to the release of many hundreds of individuals due to their age and or health condition, the nature of their charged crime, or the length of their remaining sentence. At the same time, we want to make clear that the categories of those proposed for release have, in some instances, included individuals who pose a high risk to public safety, the letter says. As an example, we learned last week that Bran was about to use her authority to order an across-the-board release of hundreds of inmates serving city sentences. We were assured that the release would not include those serving time for domestic violence or sex offenses, given the risks to victims. Unfortunately, we later learned that such individuals were indeed included in the ranks of those to be released. De Blasio said Sunday that more than 650 inmates had been released over coronavirus concerns. Then Q links an NBC article, NBC New York, actually, article, titled NYPD Brass Were Arresting Too Many Prisoners on Early COVID Release. And this is a quote from the article. Hundreds of prisoners released early from Rikers due to COVID concerns are being enabled to reoffend again and again without consequences, law enforcement leaders say. Cause and effect, do you see what's happening? Well, I certainly think that it's clear what is happening. I need to drink water. Okay, 4550. Meanwhile, my kid is screaming in the other room. He sounds fine. 4550. Okay, so an Anon said, I see on the boards, I see what's happening, but I would like to see you guys doing something about it already. We know all of this. We are helpless to it all. So the real question, Q, is do you see what's happening? And then Q responds, fear not, we are not helpless. Enough must see. Enough people must, so we have talked before about reaching critical mass, reaching that, that point in which we have enough people that are awake and see what's happening so that they're not forcing it on people. There is an element of consent and for people to get this on their own and to arrive there on their own. And so apparently we are not there when it comes to something, to getting something big. It is the only way. You are being presented with the gift of vision, ability to see clearly what they've hid from you for so long, illumination. Their deception, dark actions on full display. People are waking up en masse. People are no longer blind. Do you think it's a coincidence that they banned and prevent you from attending church, house of worship? Anti-American, anti-God. One must only look to see. Have faith in humanity, have faith in yourself. Let light guide you. Find peace through prayer, biblical Q. Let me see if there were any since I was getting ready for this. What's up, guys? Okay, that's laughter. Sometimes I hear noises and I'm like, do I need to run? Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, so there was a new one. Joe Biden, I'm going to follow the doc's orders. I will not hold any rallies. Q is linking to a Gateway pundit article that says, wow, Joe Biden going to follow Doc's orders, will not hold rallies. How do you prevent public embarrassment? Regarding lack of crowd size, do you continue the con regarding fake polling lead? How do you support mail-in ballot election fraud? Election was not rigged at all. Rigged, all polls show Biden had a double-digit lead versus POTUS example. Who benefits the most? Is this about the virus or the election? That's kind of funny because his turnouts are quite sad. We do know that. They have like little circles on the ground and people have to like stay in their chair inside the circle, and like not even all the circles are filled. And then you compare that to the Trump rallies that we've been seeing, not just recently, but all along. But yeah, even recently with this virus and with people being afraid to leave their house, and with the Antifa, Black Lives Matter people standing out in front and intimidating them and making people with families actually feel unsafe and have to leave. So, yeah, there is no way to possibly think that Biden is actually leading in any poll whatsoever. What did I miss? Did I miss anything in the chat? Critical mass, those that see are able to see, those that can't see will never see. I believe that might be what Q has talked about with the 4 to 6%. At least I'm hoping. That sounds, when I look right now and I'm like, I feel like we're still pretty much split down the middle, that's very discouraging to me, even though I am seeing it starting to shift in our direction. But I do think that most people have the right kind of tools, capabilities within them to figure this stuff out, or at least get there eventually. But there really are some people that will just be lost forever. He is pollless. Joe reminded us about his lying dog-faced pony soldier statement. Collective facepalm by his entire campaign staff. Yeah, so he had some press conference today where he was literally reading off of teleprompters and was like being given I'm sure he was given the questions beforehand. There is just such a contrast between Joe Biden and President Trump. And really, I really don't believe that anybody sits there and thinks like, yeah, this guy's pretty good option. I think they just hate Trump so much that that's the only reason why he has any support whatsoever. But I think that support is very minimal at best. I do want to start focusing more on talking people through, not this time, but maybe in my next video, talking people through getting registered to vote. If you are not already, we need to all be doing that, making sure all the people in our lives that aren't big dum-dums get registered to vote, and that we just make sure that we are doing all we can in that arena. We have however many months we have left until November, and to push with all of our might. It is time. The same way that they are pushing with all of their might, it's do or die time for them, same for us. And we need to act like it, and we need to just give it our all for the next few months until we get this president reelected. Then you can take a break. Then you can whatever you want to do. So many dum-dums. I know, but less every day. Less and less every day. I really believe that. Okay, I'm seeing no arrests equals no vote. Does that mean, are you saying that if you don't see arrests that you won't vote for Donald Trump? Because go ahead and let me know if that's what you're saying. Because I got a little something for you. I'll wait. Biden can't say a complete sentence without effing up. Well, in that way, I kind of relate to him. But I'm also not trying to be the president of the United States. Hi, Victoria. Good to see you. Is Tesla my favorite scientist? Yes, I would say he is. Yeah, so Jeff says it's going to be Michael Obama and Mayor Pete. So it definitely seems, there's no chance that it's going to be Joe Biden. And it seems to me like they are dragging their feet on putting in who they really want. Honestly, I think they've seen the meme folders in my phone and they are terrified that I will unleash them. So they're not letting me, they're not giving me that time yet, because they don't want to give me that heads up. It's like they're going to do it really last minute so that I don't have time to pass my memes around. I'm getting really good at, okay, so I told you guys that I was organizing my memes, and I do think I'm gonna do a thread about it. That was Enoch's idea, to do a thread about it. I don't really know if that's necessary. This is all I'm doing. I'll just tell you guys. It's super simple. I go through my whole phone, thousands, like 36,000 photos I think I have. Maybe more than that, I don't even remember. And I take every single meme and I put it into a folder that says memes. Then I have to go through it again, and I start dividing them up into subcategories. So far right now, my subcategories are, you know, Obarna, I've got HRC, I've got Trump, I've got patriotic, I have, so all of the kind of main players. I have a Pepe folder, I have a patriotic folder, I think I already said that. I have a Q folder, which is like, just very, you know, like those would be where I'd put things like, oh, you got cued, friend, and things like that. You'd be surprised at what that does. Somebody actually put it the other day to me. It's like being in war and not having your ammunition like organized, or like your foxhole is disorderly. These are what we are using in information warfare, so it is very important. Like, so many times I think to myself, I have the perfect meme for this, and then I'm scrolling, can't find it, and I give up. Your memes are useless to you if you can't access them quickly. So I say get as organized as you can, and yeah, keep them, whatever's gonna work for you. However you can use memory recall to figure out what folder you've put that meme in. Do you need to purchase more storage for all the memes? I don't even know what kind of storage I have, but so far, so I know I had to up my storage like 2 years ago, or like a year and a half ago. I lost all my photos, and fortunately they were able to recover some of them, but that was a big mess. But to answer that question, I think I have a ton of storage, because they all kind of go to the cloud. I saw on Twitter that on 8kun they have lists of who's been arrested. Is that true? Yes. So there are people that are compiling those lists of not only resignations and people that are fired, stepping down, etc., but, you know, notable deaths. We have the sealed cases being compiled. So there are a lot of anons that are doing that really important work. And there are I'm ignoring you. There are I forgot what I was saying. There are folders on 8kun. So once upon a time, it was like a big no-no to give people links to 8chan and, you know, help guide them there. And so I used to kind of adhere to that rule. But if you guys go to 8kun, you know that it is just a shill fest. It has been completely overrun. Almost no work gets done there anymore. I mean, not in comparison to what it was. It's really actually kind of sad, but a lot of that work has migrated to Twitter. But at this point, I kind of feel like we might as well send people there, just because it's, you know, cat's out of the bag. It used to be you didn't want to send people there that were new, because they tend to kind of not really get the society of, you know, of how it operates, and then they would post, and then they would derail the conversation, but the conversations are completely derailed. Sync your phone to your computer. No, I can't do that, because my computer has like, I don't know, three storage. I don't know. My computer is really bad and has no storage. So I actually accidentally started doing that one day, and I had to just completely unplug everything and like throw my computer in the pool. Did we go over Parler last time? I just wanted to touch on that really quickly while I'm talking about, you know, the Chans and Twitter and everything. There's been a push by some of the people, even within, you know, who work in Trump's circle, to push people onto this app called Parler, which is basically the whole purpose of it is that it's not being censored. But Q has also said very expressly that we are not to leave Twitter, which is what a lot of us have been saying. So I just wanted to reiterate that even if you make a Parler, which I think is a good idea, we should all have a backup, or we should all have a place that we can meet. And, you know, actually Discord was really good because you could have folders. So like, gosh, if I could figure out how to put all of my memes into folders so that all of you guys could access all of my memes, that would be awesome. And obviously Twitter can't do that. Parler, you can't even private message anyone, as far as I know, yet. It's still very clunky. So, but we hope that something like that will take the place of Twitter eventually. Right now, still the fight is on Twitter. We don't leave Twitter until POTUS leaves or until they force us to leave. And even then, we still want to respawn when we can. Hey, Neo. We need to red pill on the younger ones as well. I've been noticing that the younger ones kind of get it more quickly. Yes, while they've been indoctrinated probably the most heavily out of all of us, they're just ready to get it. And I don't know if that has something to do with, you know, particular souls incarnating on this earth at a particular time when they're needed, but it's really cool to see. It gives me hope. I copy and paste all tweets onto Parler. Yeah, you can do that too. I mean, keep it going. I really just want to encourage people not to get too comfy there, because once you get comfy there, then you guys know how it is. You guys remember when you migrated to Facebook from MySpace, or you migrated to Twitter, you start using one app more, and the entire purpose is not to isolate ourselves into an echo chamber. We need to stay on Twitter, because that's where the fight is, because that's where the dum-dums are. Your daughter hates Trump. I'm sorry to hear that. How old is she? Your 19-year-old stepson is woke AF. That's awesome. Was on Parler long enough to sign up. Me too. I was actually surprised to see, I think I signed up in like 2018. I was like, really? I don't even remember doing that. But I went to log into it the other day. I think I have 3 posts on there. And they're all 3 memes, I think. We need to get on TikTok. It's Chinese, yes, but the younger generation is on there. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever gonna, I don't even think I'm gonna brave TikTok. I don't really necessarily know what it is, but I can't do another one. I don't even want to do Parler. The only reason why I'm doing Parler is because we do need some kind of a backup. Got my daughter to register to vote today. Good job. My kids are adults, but they are split. They'll get there. Times have changed. Zoomers are way more into free thinking than millennials. I think the awakening has something to do with it. Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. TikTok is bad, y'all. I don't think I would go on there. Let's be honest, all social media is bad. Yep, that's true. That is true. But it is a necessary evil right now. So I guess we just, you know, we have to use things like Twitter, but, you know, we don't need all of them. Who knows what they're putting on our phones with those apps when we download them. Your cat loves Trump. Good kitty. Scratch that cat behind the ears. CCP owns TikTok. Well, that ain't good. Zoom is owned by China. What isn't owned by China? That would probably be a shorter list to go through. Can you share your memes for download somehow for us to use and help spread around? If anybody has an idea of how I can do that, that's not going to take me, you know, a month, then I am all ears. My email is thekateawakening@gmail.com. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me. And if anybody has an idea of how I could like quickly upload a ton of memes, but I post memes every day on my Twitter. I retweet people when I see that they have good memes. So if you follow me on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, that's a good place to start ganking my memes. Google Drive or OneDrive? Yeah, I'll have to look into that. China. Yeah, that's what Discord was really good for. Mega app. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, there are good memers on Twitter. We try to push their accounts because they're always putting out good stuff. Really, because part of it is that we are supposed to be putting them underneath these tweets. If you go, if Obama tweets, or if one of those people tweets, like literally scroll through their responses and you'll find some gems and just steal them from there. All memes are fair game. I'm afraid all of my artist friends will disown me if I come out of the Trump closet. Well, that is a possibility, but you will, and it will be hard, I won't lie to you, but it is always worth it, and you will end up being a hero to them eventually. Maybe a long time from now, long time, but eventually you will be cool. It's really hard at first, and yeah, obviously, when you're in a group of friends that all kind of share a brain, as groups of friends tend to do, it is hard to be the one that's sitting there in silence with a different opinion on very important things. But be brave. That's literally what Q was just talking about. Kind of, well, in one of the drops about, you know, the Sunshine Patriot and whatever, and these people that claim to, you know, be a patriot or want to help their country, but it's the tough times that really prove that you're a true patriot, and confronting. I was a silent patriot for a very long time that kept, you know, that just kept quiet. I was biting my tongue for a long time. And you are not alone, that is for sure. There are dozens of us. I'm just kidding. There are millions of us, literally. It's so liberating coming out of the Trump closet. It really is. It really is. And especially when you find, that's another reason why I like Twitter. You can start finding all of these patriots that are out there doing this work, and surround yourself with people who get it, and it will be very helpful to you. How is the meditation playlist coming, Kate? About that. I'm so busy, you guys. Oh, so I am speaking next month at ECETI at the end of July, and so I am working on my presentation for that, and I'm super ultra nervous, but I'm actually really excited about what I'm going to talk about. I think I have a good plan, and I have it outlined. So anyway, that's what I've been busy doing. It's also partially why I've been organizing my memes, because I'm incorporating a lot of memes in my presentation. So yeah, that's taking up the majority of my time, as if I had any time to spare, as it were. I was popular enough to get asked to political candidate school for a year. Now I'm alone socially. No quitting. This is more important. Yeah, Leo, it's rough, but you will get past that rough spot. It does kind of just gradually get better as you talk to more and more people and start kind of getting away from those toxic bubbles. But it's lonely, I will admit. Yeah, is anybody in here going to ECETI? I'm excited for that. I've never been. And I've been wanting to go for a really long time. And it seems just like a very magical land. I don't know if any of you guys have caught my interviews with James Gilland, who owns ECETI, but those are always really fun. We always get into ETs and that kind of stuff that I don't tend to get into on my channel very much, but some of you guys write to me and love it. And it's in Washington State, I believe. Yay. But I'm also just like, I cannot wait to just like be around people, you know? It's been so long. Like real friends and like flesh and blood. That's gonna be really fun. Mount Shasta. It's at the foot of Mount, I forgot. Trout Lake, Washington. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all I have for you. But was there anything I had to announce? I don't think so. Thank you guys for being here. I will be back next Tuesday at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern. And I will see you on Twitter. Until then, oh, be sure to follow my Twitter, Kate_Awakening. I'm also on Instagram. Don't be discouraged by the fact that I only have like 12 posts. I post a lot of stories and they're always like really, oh, that's a good place to get memes too. I tend to post the more inappropriate ones in my Instagram stories. So just because I feel safer there. Not as many people see them, but that's a good place to screenshot some of my nasty memes. And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next week.